What do you do for a living?
Nothing. And then I record it.
So today I'm gonna do a video which is the worst boyfriend that I've ever had. And it's really between two people here. One was an Indonesian boyfriend, trumped all of my other Indonesian boyfriends to be the absolute worst. And one was a Canadian boyfriend when I was 16 years old. I think the worst one was probably the Indonesian one, only because like the Canadian one that was so bad was like at the age of 16, and when you're a teenager you're still like kind of crazy, so I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He still had a lot of time to improve himself and blah blah blah, like we all do. So yeah, my mom had a 1979 450 SL, like Mercedes convertible, and I used to drive that around feeling like so cool. I mean, I feel cool with the super fit too, but there's something about like really cool cars that makes you feel awesome. So yeah, so I was driving that, and he smashed up the window in that car because he was trying to take revenge on me. It's like, you know, that crosses the line. You don't mess with the girl's mom's Mercedes, you know. And after we broke up, I was hanging out with my girl, and he actually was stalking us through the window at my friend's house. Like, he was outside the window, hiding in the bushes, staring at us. So her mom called the cops. The cops came and tried to like arrest him, and then I felt bad for him, so I offered to drive him back to his house, again in my mom's Mercedes. And I just didn't want him to get into legal trouble. And after we arrived at his house, he says, I'm going to do something again to your mom's car if you don't come inside. So I came inside because I don't want to have my mom put up with all that stuff. And so I went inside because he said he wanted to talk, and he took a knife and he put the knife to my stomach, and then I screamed. Then he put his hand all over my mouth, like, and I've got the knife to my stomach. His mom woke up and she said, you know, are you okay? And he's like, yep. Meanwhile, he's got a knife to my stomach and he's got his hand over my mouth. So then afterwards, like, I'm trying to calm him down, and like, okay, it's okay, I'm not gonna like rebel, I'm just gonna go along with this. And then he took it to his own wrist and he threatened to kill himself in front of me. And he did slice a little bit, it was bleeding. So I think I said, oh, it's okay, we can get back together, blah, 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 until he felt comfortable, and then he fell asleep. So yeah, that's the worst Canadian. But still, I don't think he was as bad as this next one. So this Indonesian guy, who is definitely hands down the worst boyfriend that I ever had, this guy, I found him through a colleague at work, and he said he had a brother, and he showed me a picture, and he was cute, and I said, all right, well, looks like a blind date kind of thing. And I met him, and he was kind of cute, or I thought so at the time, and okay, like, well, okay, all right, let's do this. So we dated for a while, and so he told me he was a bit older than he actually was, and he said that he had just graduated and that he got a job and that he was gonna have to move because, you know, like, he can't reject this job offer. So I'm like, yeah, cool, go for it, like, you know, chase your dream. He said, okay, well, I'll come back to visit you on the weekend. And he would always send me things, like he sent me flowers. He sounds pretty good so far, right? But so he's sending me flowers, so sometimes I would come home and there would be flowers with like a little love note in there. Sometimes there would be like a teddy bear. I was getting gifts all the time. These really simple, like, romantic gifts. And he would fly in on the weekends to come visit me. And I could see he's definitely making an effort, trying to be with me and making this long distance relationship work. Now, when I asked to see his house, if you saw my video Dating Indonesian Men, I said, like, you know, make sure you see their house. And so I said, why don't you show me your house? And then he said, oh, well, I'm poor, and so, you know, I'm embarrassed, my house is so small. And I'm like, I don't care, but I don't want to make you uncomfortable, so if you don't feel comfortable showing me, that's fine. Anyway. And then he started asking for presents. Like, one time he came to visit, and then he wanted me to buy him a watch. I said he wanted a present. And I thought, well, he spends a lot of money on the tickets to come visit me. I probably should buy him a present then. So I bought him the watch. And then one time he called me and said, can I have some money because I just wrecked my boss's car. I had a little accident, and if I tell my boss about it and make him pay for it, then he might fire me. So I sent him money. That was fine, because I thought, well, he's also making a financial contribution, like coming to visit me, right? Because the flights, you know, it adds up. And then, oh God, we're gonna get married. We're planning on getting married. We're engaged now, and the clock is ticking. And he would bring something, and he would say it was from his mother, a sarong. Oh, ini sarong dari ibu saya. Dia mau ketemu kamu, tapi dia belum sempat. And then to arrange the wedding, to arrange the marriage, like legally, like he asked for my passport, and he asked for these like photos, and he asked for like a number of different things for the purpose of getting married. And then he came back and said, okay, it's all set up. We're getting married on this date. And I thought, okay, well, before I get married, I should go visit my mom. So I went to go visit my mom in Egypt. She was living in Egypt at the time. And I was gonna stay there for 6 months. And then when I came back to Indonesia, like, we would get married. A week after I arrived in Egypt, I got a phone call from him, and he said that he had slept with his secretary and that he doesn't want to get married anymore because he's a bad person and he doesn't deserve me and blah, blah, blah. Like, something felt wrong about it because I didn't see any signs of him like cheating, and I asked for more detailed explanation so I could understand how this all went down. But like, he kind of avoided me. He was just acting so strange. I didn't see this coming at all. I called and I said, I want to talk to her. So he said, no, she doesn't want to talk to you. And like, I'm in Egypt. It's not like I'm gonna beat her up. I just want to talk to her. No, couldn't talk to her. And so I thought, well, I don't need your permission to talk to her. I'll just call the office, right? I tried to find online the office that he said he worked for. And when I called the number, they had never heard of him. They had never heard of him. He didn't work there. So I thought, oh, maybe it's the wrong office, and calling again. The phone bill, like, seriously, the phone bill. So eventually he gave me the number of the girl. So I called the girl. No, he's fine now, we love each other. Yeah, we've been dating for a while. And I'm like, well, we were supposed to get married. Like, me and him were gonna get married, and like, what's going on? Oh, I don't care. And I was like devastated. And my mom said, are you sure you want that guy? Like, you know? And I said, yeah. So I changed my ticket, and I came back to Indonesia right away to find more answers. Basically, I just needed to know exactly what happened, because like, how could I have been so fooled? And so I came back and basically was investigating, and so I tried to find out. He said this girlfriend of his lived in this new city. I called the telephone company and I said, can you tell me who owns this number? And they said, no, we can't, but we can tell you what area the number was registered from. And it wasn't a number from that city he said he worked in. It was from the local area. And so then I called the number again, just saying, hello, is this blah, blah, blah. You know, I can't remember what we talked about. Like, yeah, I already told you, I love him. Something like that. Then I checked my pulsa. And if it was long distance, then it would have required more pulsa to call. And it was definitely local. She said she was over there, but she was actually somewhere in this area. Okay, that's also strange. It's a big mystery. It's like a movie. So I'm thinking, my motorcycle at the time might have been under his name or something like that. And so I remember that I had a photocopy of his KTP, and I checked out the address and I went there. He didn't live in a small house. He lived in a huge house. And it turns out he was living there the whole time. His brother and his sister eventually felt bad for me, and then I found out the truth. He never worked in that city. He was still in university, not even graduated yet, never worked a day in his life. And now I'm thinking, so that money that I sent you for like ruining your boss's car, that was for what? Like cheeky cheeky? lied about everything and maintained that lie for a goddamn year. When I said, but I talked to his mother on the phone and she says, I can't wait to meet you, blah, blah. And the sister said, that was me. He asked me to pretend I was his mother. And you know who else was fake? The secretary. Of course, he didn't have a secretary. He was a university student. So who was the secretary that he slept with? It was his sister. His family wasn't comfortable with, with you, and he didn't want to tell you, so he made up this big stories. All right, that's it then. That's all I wanted. Just wanted the truth. And a few months later, he got married to a girl in a jilbab. I think that they were engaged the whole time. But yeah, he got married shortly after this whole thing went down. And so, yeah. I would have to say that's the worst boyfriend that I ever had because his lies were much more elaborate. So yeah, that's my story. Beat that! You know what? I'm gonna tag some people on this video because I'd like to hear your worst relationship. Or is it just me that has these experiences? I'm gonna tag my bule vloggers, Mas Bas Bule Prancis, Martin Johnson or Pop Martin, Coffee with Nani, Felipe Valdez, and Bule British. And I'm also gonna tag Pow Pow because I'm sure the world wants to know, Pow Pow, did you ever have a really bad boyfriend in your past? Because I want to watch that. I hope you enjoyed hearing the story of me being miserable and kind of crazy myself. Miss Private Investigator I am. And I'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye. Sometimes having like a bad relationship is mentally stimulating because you have challenges and then you can, there are answers that need to be answered and you can like find things out, and it's a good experience learning about I've learned a lot about myself. I learn about humanity, but I'm not gonna do it again. Yeah, but whatever. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.